Hey everybody, so today we are going to be doing a beginner's guide for Ghost of Tabor. I know we're going to be getting a lot of people coming over from the Quest, now that it's on the MetaQuest store. And, for the people that didn't get on App Labs, and there's just so much to this game to learn, so much to know, and it's always good to have guides. And I actually took the time to watch some of the other YouTubers playing guides, just so I'm not repeating everything that they're saying. There is going to be some stuff that I'm going to have in here where, it's not talked about yet, or I haven't seen it talked about yet. The first thing I want to say for any new player, any of you guys that are out there, just go out, have fun. There is a trick to getting back all your stuff, and it's really actually quite simple. You just go here to profile, and you hit reset account. So with that in mind, you can go through, if you didn't buy a DLC, or even if you did buy a DLC or whatever it is, you could burn through all your stuff in 1, 2, 3 days. Reset your account. This is all part of a learning experience for you when you first start. I know for me personally, I didn't realize you could reset your account when I first started. And it took me probably 1 week to lose all my stuff, and it took me about 3 weeks to recover to get back to where I was. And with that being said, like, if you're new and you're losing your stuff really quickly, you're probably not completing missions to even having it make a difference. The one thing to keep in mind is, if you have the money and if you're able to do it and you're struggling at the game, DLCs do make a big difference. If you get the right ones, like the Independence one that they have right now, or the Nuclear Night one, it starts your traders at level 2. You'll get that fresh at every wipe. You'll get everything back again, and it'll start you with extra space and everything. Granted, this room isn't hard to get to. It's not difficult to get to this room. Now, you may be thinking, why are you doing a beginner's guide? You don't have a lot of stuff. I personally do not hoard a lot of stuff. I will probably never upgrade my storage because I don't need to upgrade my storage. The kitchen, I'll keep a little bit of food and stuff in here. That's about it. And then I will put some guns and stuff in my armor. Like, even right here, I have sights, meds, have silencers, grips, and once I get Jerry to level 2, I'll have tangerines right here. That's all I need. And I'll build and buy stuff as I need it, or find it in raid. It's that simple. Now, the first thing I want to point out is, once you get to Tabor Market, it is a little bit confusing. You actually never need to go to this side, because you don't need anything from this person. You don't need anything from this person. People are right when they say the only traders you actually need to level up are Minty, Spectre, and Jiri, which is over there. So I'm still at level 1 for all my traders, so I wanted to actually do this when I was here. So it's good to know that, backpacks, I can only get this one. No matter what happens, the adventure bag's at level 2. No matter what happens, always bring a bag in. Chest rigs, everything like that. Oh, you actually have these available. Now, if you are really, really broke, at least bring this in with one armor module. It makes a big difference with reloading your weapon. If you have or ammo module on there, and you could just quickly pull it out, get rid of your other mag, and put it in. Helmets. This helmet is kind of okay. You don't really need it. This helmet, never buy it, never use it. It mainly just disrupts your vision. I think it might block the 22 pistol. So you don't really need that. As for the Spectre and everything, and you might have been like, hey, I started off with guns to begin with. So with that being said, if we come over here, we don't worry about this. We don't want to do this. These are difficult for new players. Handguns, you start off with 2 Glocks. You can't even buy Glocks at level 1. Don't even bother buying these guns. For the most part, they're not worth it. This gun is not worth it. It is kind of powerful, but the magazine for it's so small, you're not gonna get anybody, and you have to use iron sights no matter what. The guns you want to focus on for when you're starting out is, one, the MP40. This is a great SMG and everything. The one thing with this one, with the magazine, is you got do that, load it, bring it back, and now it's So it is a good SMG to have. The iron sights aren't that bad on it or anything like that. If you're doing the, when we go over the missions later, if you're going to do one that's specifically for SMG, if you're going to do a mission specifically for SMGs, that's a great gun to use. That's the one I even use when I first start out and everything like that. Assault rifles, if you lose all your starting guns, you're level 1, this is going to be your option. So it's a SKS. It's a single fire gun. Simple to load, simple to shoot, and everything like that. So you do that. And another thing for this gun, like I know a lot of people say it moves and everything like that, but there really isn't any movement. All right. And we'll actually go over why there isn't any movement for me on that in a minute. Merrick, this guy, you don't upgrade trader missions or anything like that for him. He just does your bunker upgrade. So you have all these. Only benefit is to upgrade armory right away once you're able to. Other than that, these can wait. Like maintenance, I mean, it's going to take a minute to. Or we don't even need to worry about maintenance. The other things are, so you have difference between rooms and utilities. Rooms are the ability to access the room. Right here, utility is what you're doing inside the room. So generator for the utility, you want to upgrade that for your generator. It'll help it last longer. This improves the function for your garden station. This gives you the ability to make NRSs and everything like that for the utility. Intel, this gives you racks to put GPUs in so you can make money. Over here, Jerry, it is very beneficial in here because Jerry actually has ammo crafting, which is over there, so you don't need to worry about that other trader. And it has consumables and meds and stuff like that. So you really only need to worry about Jerry. That's why people say 2 of the traders are kind of obsolete. This is also where you get your bunker resources. So if you want to buy gas or water filter, and if you don't want to have to come here every single time to buy gas and stuff like that, you can always go here, favorite it, and you're pretty well set. I always have that favorite. I hope that didn't mess that up on mine, but I can always fix it later. But that'll be added to your favorites list in your kiosk and back in your bunker, and you're all set to go for that. So those are the 3 right there. Let's hop back. So here's the tutorial level. This is a spot where you're going to start whenever you load into the game. And it is also great, so if you ever want to practice your aim, you can. Now granted, I am moving a little slow. My aim's not the best when it comes to these types of guns, but if you want to improve your aim at all or get faster, just spend a couple minutes every single time you load in. That didn't take very long just to shoot with that. Then you come over here if you want, pick up an AK, load it up. You want to practice point fire. It's a good way to practice point fire. You're aiming and everything like that to do that. Now, one thing I do want to point out with aiming, a lot of people will bring the gun up to their face and everything like that, but if you go like that and lean your head a little bit forward, it is actually a lot easier, and you're not going to have as much collision if you're actually leaning your face forward a little bit, as some people do. The other thing that you're going to want to do is go into your settings and turn on your virtual gun stock. Unless you have a physical gun stock, the virtual gun stock is something that is very beneficial for your settings. These I don't really mess with that much. I should probably work on my hand pitch rotation. Essentially what your hand pitch rotation is when you pull up a gun, it's easiest to explain that when you pull up the gun and you look down and aim, is it very accurate? And you can see right there, it looks like I'm aiming and hitting it, but for whatever reason I was missing it. But that's okay, it happens. I was probably off a little bit. This game is actually pretty accurate. And just to show you right here, if I'm aiming straight down, see I hit it. If I have it in the middle slightly over, and that's one thing a lot of people don't realize, and I see people even put this on YouTube videos and stuff like that. They'll be aiming, they'll be aiming down and everything like that. And though you do want to keep both eyes open, you also want to make sure that's in the center, because a lot of times, especially over distance and everything like that, that difference when it's the middle dot is slightly off is going to cause you to miss a whole lot more. And that's why it's important to do the virtual gun stock, because that stabilizes everything. The hand pitch rotation does the actual up and down of everything, and it'll just pretty much improve your overall aim, especially if you just come in here and practice. There's no hurting, there's no sense in hurting with practicing here. You have a Glock, you have an AK, you could practice point fire in here if you want. Makes it a little bit easier. You have an SMG if you want to use those. But overall, this is a great place to start if you're struggling with your aiming. I did not take advantage of practicing in the tutorial when I started, which is fine. I just ended up dying a whole lot until I slowly got better at aiming. Now we're back in the safe house, and what we're going to be doing here is we're just going to be going over a couple mechanics for the game mechanics that I see people making a lot of mistakes on, especially when you first start out. Now for this game, they try to make it realistic. So what people you'll see do a lot is they'll drink water like this. You'll get a couple gulps, but it really doesn't. You're going to spill a lot of water. What you want to do is kind of hold it at a 45-degree angle, right towards your face, right below your nose, and you will slowly drink and you'll be fine. When it comes to food, you don't really have to worry about the direction the food is going. You just make sure it's open and then put it towards your face, and you'll eat. That's simple. And the food actually never really spills out. Liquids will spill out, so be mindful of that. So one thing I do want to also point out is with this game, you only have so far that you can go down. Okay, so I'm wearing a vest. A lot of times people will crouch and everything like that, and that's fine, but then they'll try to duck down lower, and you can kind of see how the vest goes over my face and everything like that. I'm not crouching farther down, right? That is as far as I'm not going to keep going. Once you start seeing any of the vest movement in front of your face, you're not going any farther down. And I don't know why people do it from time to time. Maybe it's just to make yourself feel better, everything like that. If you go into your settings right here and you calibrate seated mode, so if you want to do that, you could crouch with your left joystick for me because I'm right-handed. And if you crouch like this will tell you about how far you could crouch down and without being going too far, if that is a good way to, if that makes sense. So I don't really ever play with the seated because I move around a lot and everything, and I play standing in front of my couch anyway. So if I am going to sit down and aim, I'm going to be able to sit down on my couch and aim. I don't worry about any of the other stuff, and it's one less button to push. Third thing, take this, and one thing that people don't realize is they added this last year. You can mag pump. So right now you pick up clips or whatever you want to call it with the trigger on there. If you bring it close to your gun, hit grab, it pulls it out, you rotate back, and you put the new magazine in. So it's very simple, and then you can just drop it, which makes it quick to do if you're in the field. Again, you have trigger to hold it with your left grip, put it in, and you don't even need to release trigger or grip to put the other one in. It just goes in and automatically releases it anyway for you. Another thing that people might struggle with and everything like that is actually taking off armor. So always, whenever you're taking off armor or anything like that, trigger away, bring your hand in and grab. That is one of the easiest ways to take off armor. A lot of things with attachments, even these, I've never taken off or turned off the thing that tells me what to do. Like this, it says to take this off, I need to grab and trigger. And whenever it's a grab and trigger away, put your hand close, and then grab it. Easiest way to do it. Is this not going back up there now? There we go. And that will make your life easier, also having those on. Now, third thing we're going to be going over real quick is missions. Missions are very important. It's how you up your trader levels and everything like that. Mine glitched a little bit. Usually you have to do reputation and dollar amount. My dollar amount kind of stayed there from last swipe. It's okay. It's a feature. It's not a bug. It's never a bug. It's always a feature. No matter whether it's good or bad, always a feature. So for these are kind of the ones I start with. Everybody's going to be different. I know some people say go for Jerry first, get them to level 3. That way you get AP ammo. AP ammo is the best, everything like that. I personally don't worry about it. I've never actually been in a situation where I was thinking, man, I really wish I had AP ammo. If you're using a rifle, the higher caliber guns, you'll be just fine. I will say probably 70-80% of the people you run into are not going to have hardly any armor on, or are going to, or they're just not going to have anything on it as well. Also, keep in mind, we could use the mannequin for demonstration. The armor only actually covers in game what it actually physically covers. So if you hit someone there, it's going to go. If you hit someone there, wherever you hit them, that's not armor. It's not going to do any difference whether you have AP ammo or not, because you can hit them in the face, you can hit them in the leg, everything like that. It's a great thing to know, great thing to keep in mind. So what I do is I focus Spectre mainly first. With Minty on the side right there. So I like the 15 Phoenix with 3 raids because I'm always killing Phoenix and it doesn't have a specific type of gun. And then I'll also mainly run and go for the kill 25 Phoenix with the SMG and 5 raids. Now the reason why I do this is because to get from level 1 to level 2 Spectre, you would need to complete this 3 times. If you're going on island, you should be able to get 10 to 15 Phoenix kills per raid if you're taking your time and going through and everything like that, and not just rushing in trying to grab loot and getting killed by other players that are going to be better than you because they've been playing this game for longer. If you are somebody that is naturally good at video games and everything like that, and you're like, I'm not going to worry about it, I'm just going to go in there and kill people, great. Do the player kill task, everything like that. Have those set up. You'll be fine. You'll be able to level up. A lot of these tasks, so keep in mind, you don't really get much for them. So a lot of these Spectre tasks, you get, 1800, 1200, 1200, 1200, so on and so forth. 15 Phoenix with a bolt action rifle, that wouldn't even be worth it. A lot of these aren't really worth it at all. The multiple weapons one, you actually have to use each weapon to kill the Phoenix. Which actually finding those weapons and using them and everything like that could be a little bit difficult. It's not really worth it. The one minty task I do want to point out though is this 15 Phoenix and 3 raids. You get 5,000 XP every single time you finish it. If you are completing raids and making sure you're killing Phoenixes, you should be at least getting 5 Phoenixes per raid that you're actually completing and getting out of it. So that means every 3 raids, you get 25 XP. If you're getting more Phoenixes, great. Sometimes you should be able, like this was one raid, I got 14 Phoenix kills. Wish I would have gotten one more. But most of the time you should be able to complete this in 1 to 2 raids if you're not getting killed by other players. Yeah, and that's 5,000 XP each time. So let's say that's 10 raids you guys survive to get that one taken care of, to actually level up Minty to level 2. Now, if you want to bypass getting to level 2 and everything like that, again, buy a DLC. There really aren't a lot of Minty tasks to be done, and the fact that 2 are only worth 1,000, and 10 players and 7 lives may be difficult for some people. Not really. I mean, that one's actually kind of generous with how it's set up, because that's what, 1.5 players per game. Jerry tasks, when you do level Jerry, for me personally, I wait till I'm Spectre level 3, Minty level 2, and I will go through and run every single thing except this Makarov mission right there. It's pointless. It is very hard to do. I never use Makarov anyway, and that's okay. We have all these other ones that we could stack on top of each other, because pretty much these two stack, and then if you get lucky and get out 5 raids without dying straight, you get 10,000 XP. And it is only 25,000 XP to level up Jerry to level 2. To get to level 3, it is 75,000 XP. You don't start over, it just kind of keeps going on. So 75,000 XP altogether to level up from level 1 to level 3 is what you're going to need. Now, what we're going to be going over next is basic spawn areas and what you may want to be doing in raid. And really, this also depends on how fast you want to move through raid. Now, when you first start off, when you go onto the island, my favorite map is Island. I don't really play Silo. I play Modka a little bit. I'll probably play more once it gets an update on it. But it's a lot to take in, because this, from what I could see just turning around and everything like that, it's only about maybe 40% of the map, maybe 30% of the map. It continues a lot further on down that way, and it could be overwhelming not knowing where players are going to be and everything like that, because you don't have a player count that says how many people are still alive. You don't know how many people actually spawned into the raid, because it is up to 12 people, and if it doesn't fill up in the first 10 minutes, it's not going to fill up, and you could be in a raid with 6 other people and not know it. You could be in a raid the whole time with 12 other people or 11 other people and not know it. But the one good thing is there is the Ghost of Tabor wiki, where you could actually pull it up. You could pull up all the different maps. It tells you on the Ghost of Tabor wiki where the spawn locations are, where the extracts are. Like, there's an extract back there, there's one over there at the boathouse, and then there's one way over there at the borders. And the spawn locations are actually pretty simple. There's one there, one there, one on the other side of Lighthouse, and then one right there by that tunnel, and then one up there. Those are the spawn locations that we can see from this side. Now, a lot of new players, the first thing that they'll do is, once they spawn in, like let's say they spawn in there, they'll go down there, loot up, and they'll have to kill that Phoenix. Or they'll go, if they're spawning over there, right there, they'll push this way. You don't know if the other person's here spawned in or not, right? There's a lot of people that'll just run through these camps, not paying attention to anything, no care in the world, and they want to grab loot, they want to go for the high tier loot, everything like that. This game, some people do okay with just rushing the high tier loot spawns, like Radio Tower's one, you got Research is one if you spawn close to that, and then you also have the main building in Prison if you spawn close to that. However, a lot of people will fail quite often, and that's why they go in naked and do naked runs, because they go in with nothing. If they get near one of the high tier loot spawns, they'll rush it, grab whatever they can, and then try to get out. What you want to do is set yourself up to kill those people. And the best way to do that is know based off of these spawns on this side. So anybody that spawned from there, or up here, they're going to have to exfil down at Boathouse or Borders. So they have to cross that whole area. Anybody that spawns in around Boathouse over there, they're going to have to exfil back over there or back over at Borders. So there are ways that you could set yourself up for success and everything like that, to where even if you're not the first person in, you could definitely kill the first person that got in there. Now, let's say you had somebody that spawned over here on the pipeline and they ran into Radio Tower, but you spawned all the way over there on the other side. What you can do if you wanted to push players and everything like that, you could go right up there kind of along the beach and then up this area. Because this person, if they find a graphics card, a key card, or anything like that, and they're going to rush to get out, they're going to go down that way, and they're going to try to get out of Boathouse. They may come over here and try to take the back route over to Borders Extract way over there, but they're going to have to cross everybody that's fighting that could see them when they go by Research Center right there. So it's those types of things to keep in mind when you're playing. It's not about being the first person there, it's about knowing where to kill people and everything like that and take them out of the raid. So the next spot we're going to look at is over here, this wonderful area where we have Prison, and then the main building we have a chance for a GPU and an orange key card. Now there are a few spawns that are over here. There's one way back there, one way back there, one over here-ish on the beach. Are going to be some of the closest spawns, and when you're spawning in on this side, you're not often going to have people running from this area over to Prison unless they're going for a purple keycard run, because the keycard vault is inside that main building as well. Now for here, what I like to do, because now for here, it's important to know that all these people that spawn over on this side, they're going to have to either exfil at Boathouse or back there in that little bay area with all the dead bodies in it. The one thing that's important to know about this is, let's say you don't spawn over here. Let's say you spawn way over there. You know that anybody that finds anything good in this area is going to have to cross over that way. And that's why I said it's not about getting to the place first. It is about knowing where they have to go, because you could use these different areas as kind of like game trails, because they have to either come up through this side or they have to go along through that side. Okay, then here back in the middle, we have one of my favorite spots there is to camp, because I enjoy camping out in the open. Now, you used to be able to climb all the way up to that. For some reason, the devs did not like that idea. I don't know why. I wish I could get back up on top of the rock, but I can't anymore. And you may be thinking, hey, you're out in the open. People could come up that way. People could come from there. People could come from there. They can, but they never look up here. Almost nobody ever looks up here. I don't think I've ever been shot at first, except for when I'm not using a suppressor and somebody comes up and sneaks up behind me or something. If I'm fighting somebody and going a different, looking a different way and in a firefight with somebody else. The one thing I like about this area is you have a spawn that's right back there. You have a spawn that's kind of down in this area. I think it used to be the church spawn, but they had to move it for Night Island for whatever reason. I don't know if this spawn is still here. It might be. They might start people that close to each other by chance. I don't know. Then you have another spawn that is right down there in the bottom of the garage where the orange keycard extract is. There is an extract over there. You can only get to it if you have the orange key card. Now, a lot of these people are going to have to run either, I think it's borders and the other way, right? Because you're starting in the middle, especially that spawn. And pretty much the easiest way to remember where your exfil may be is if you spawn like right there, think, okay, my closest exfil is right there. I'm not going to be able to exfil there, right? That's pretty much how it works. Now, if you do spawn right over there, there's going to be somebody already inside. And a lot of times that boathouse spawn, which we saw on the other side near that tunnel, they're going to push research and everything like that too. Now, we know that there's only 1, 2, 3 spawns here. And if somebody's inside and they get a graphics card, and this is where I kill a lot of people, they're going to have to run out in the open this whole way going uphill if they're just grabbing the high-end item and running away. Now, same goes for this side. If somebody, is coming up this way or that way or whatever, and that is also the entrance to the secret loot room where that ledge is, where people used to drop down all the time, and I would shoot them as they would try to drop down. Easy way to get kills. Now, this is just another example of how you could camp out in the open and pretty much cover every area where people are going to try to get out. And the best part is, all these people over here, they're going to either have to exfil that way or that way. So if you're looking there and you see people there or there, they're going to have to run all the way out in the open right here just to get past you, and you could take shots at them. Same thing with this area. If they are coming down this way, they're going to have to be all out in the open for you the whole time for you to shoot at them. It makes it easier. It makes it easier to do that rather than trying to be the first person in. But like I said, yes, some people do have success at it. If you're new at the game and you're struggling to even kill phoenixes, you're not going to have success at doing that. You might get lucky once every 100 times, but more than likely you're going to end up getting killed. So, a couple things I want to point out also while we're here is the first 2 weeks after wipe are going to be the hardest. That's when you have all the people grinding and everything like that, trying to get their traders up, trying to get a bunch of loot, everything. All the people, like the top 1%, or the people that just have a lot of time to play, because let's face it, some of it is because people 5+ hours a day playing this game. They're going to go through, gather up a bunch of loot, everything like that. and it's going to be difficult because they're also going to be pushing PvP and trying to kill players and everything like that. After the first 2 weeks, you pretty much have raids that are going to be busy for the first 10-15 minutes, and then after that it's going to slow down. Maybe 20 minutes into the raid it slows down. You're probably going to be the lonely person on the island. Everybody else will be dead or exfilled. You may have a couple people lingering around, but that's about it. The other important thing to know is always bring gear. Always at least bring a backpack. You're new, you're going to struggle. Bring a backpack, bring meds, everything like that. Make sure your food and water is good at all times. That way you don't hear the stomach grumbling and everything like that. And bring a gun. It's very beneficial. And like I said, when you're starting out, you could always just go through and, like I said, if you're going in and you're new at this, just bring in gear. Bring in at least one NRS, one bandage, a backpack, whether it's just a sling bag or the adventure bag. If that's all you have, the sling bag is fine. Bring in a gun. Buy at least this vest or the tier below it. Put an ammo module on it. That way, if you end up having to reload, it's just a matter of grabbing the magazine out of the pouch, not having to take off your backpack, grab that magazine out of it, reload the gun then, and everything like that. It's just more of a hassle, and you'll end up doing a lot better in the long run. And then lastly, food and water. Food and water can be a pain when you're in raid. Food and water usually lasts probably about the first 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and about 20 minutes until you actually really have to start worrying and getting out if you don't have any on you. But you could last about 15-20 minutes into raid without any food and water. You'll be fine. So if you're dying really quickly, or if you're like, you know what, I'm just going to practice, I don't want to have to worry about eating and drinking right now going into raid, don't worry about it. But if you're going to slow play and everything like that and wait till most people are out and collect everything else once it's done, then yes, it's definitely worth it to bring food and water. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful. Remember, just go out, have fun, and yeah, gear up. I mean, what's the worst that happens? You're in a video game, you know, you lose your stuff, who cares? It's not real stuff. You don't actually get to sell it for real money. And yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.